Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it today. Can the VA cut your rating down? Can they reduce you? Yes. Yes, they can. And many of you have seen that, know about it, worry about it. Even those of you that are protected or have different layers of protection, because the VA screws up and may come after you and reduce your rating. What sort of protections are out there? How can you make sure that you are protected? And when do you know that you can fight back if you do get reduced, or what sort of recourse you have? So I'm going to dive into a little bit of that right now. So please hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. It just helps to get this information out, right? And likes are free, so they don't cost anything. It takes you half a second. You might even burn 2 calories while you're doing it. So let's jump into it. In the VA's rule book, the Code of Federal Regulations, there's a section called reexaminations. I'll put this information in there in the description, and I've talked about this before, but it's one of those things where if only a few thousand people look at it, that's many people did not. And so I want to make sure that this type of information gets out there because it's vital that you know what sort of protections you have. So let's jump into it. With reexaminations, that is where the VA could say, hey, you're better, or you're not as bad as you used to be, or whatever the case is. And they could say, we had you at 30, now we think you're at 10. And what does that do to your overall rating, right? Now, we all know that when you file a claim with the VA and you go through the process, you have your C&P, compensation and pension exam, you get that squared away, and then the VA finishes up. They send you back your award letter telling you where you're at. You're rated this percentage for that, this percentage for that. We said you're not service connected for this. You're 0% for that. Whatever it is, right? So now you have it. In that letter, it also talks about future exams. You may have, we'll just say, 3 conditions. And those 3 conditions, 2 of them, the VA may say, we don't think they're going to get any better. The information you provided from your doctor and the conversations that you had with the C&P examiner, we the VA, believe that your condition is not going to get better anytime soon. In fact, it's probably going to get worse. So we, the VA, are going to consider you with that condition or that condition as static. However, this 3rd condition that you have, it might get a little bit better. And we've seen people get better. And so we, the VA, are going to set an appointment for you in the future. We are going to see you, I don't know, 3 to 5 years from now, and reevaluate you, and then make another determination. Either A, yeah, it hasn't gotten any better and maintain your rating, or it did get better and reduce you. And this is where everybody gets stressed out. So let's go ahead, and I'll tell you this. Don't stop going to the doctor appointments. Don't stop. Keep going. So because if they call you in for a reexamination and you haven't been to the doctor for the past 4 years and you're still doing okay and you held down a job and you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing in life, they're going to go, maybe it's not as bad as you said it was, right? Even if you sucked it up and dealt with it on your own, they're still going to question it. And you don't want to give them any room to question anything. So in here, in the reexaminations, it says, reexaminations, including periods of hospitalization or hospitalized observation, will be requested whenever the VA determines there is a need to verify either the continued existence or the current severity of a disability. Generally, reexaminations will be required if it's likely that a disability has improved, or if evidence indicates there has been a material change in a disability, or that the current rating may be incorrect. Okay? So you got to be aware of this stuff. Individuals for whom reexaminations have been authorized and scheduled are required to report for such reexaminations. Keyword required. Okay, required to report for such examinations. Paragraph B, which is below, and C, below, of this section provide general guidelines for requesting reexaminations, but shall not be construed as limiting VA's authority to request reexaminations or periods of hospital observation at any time in order to ensure that a disability is accurately rated. Okay, so here we go. Compensation cases. So this is your VA disability compensation. Scheduling. So, and again, remember that this is the VA's rule book. Okay, this is the Code of Federal Regulations that the VA has to follow, right? So scheduling reexaminations. Assignment of a pre-estabilization rating requires reexamination within the second 6 months period following the separation from service. So that's for those that are getting out. Following initial Department of Veterans Affairs examination or any scheduled future or other examination, reexamination if in order, will be scheduled within not less than 2 years nor more than 5 years. So this is where you're going to hear the 5-year rule. Okay, you may have seen videos on it. This is where the VA gets that 5-year rule from. So not less than 2 years, but no more than 5 years within the judgment of the rating board unless another time period is elsewhere specified. So again, it's typically, most often, usually, those types of words would be kind of surrounding this, right? So number 2, this is important, no periodic future examinations. I'm going to say that again. No periodic future examinations will be requested in service-connected cases. No periodic re-examination will be scheduled. If any of these, okay, 6 of them. When the disability is established as static. Ideally, you are going to file your claim and have enough evidence in your file regarding your condition that the VA looks at your medical history and goes, hey, you know what? That is a static condition, right? But guess what? We as veterans don't know that that's what we need to do, so we don't even try to cross that bridge. We just go, hey, here's what we got, and here you go. Thanks, VA. Hope I get rated something, right? That's the wrong way to do it. The way you need to do this is, 1, study the schedule of ratings, know exactly what they're looking for the specific percentages that you qualify for, and back it up with medical evidence from your doctor that state that your condition is static, if it is static, right? If it's not a static condition, then it's not. But if it is, and I'll tell you, more often than not, we file claims that are static conditions and the VA doesn't know that they're static because we didn't provide the evidence, and hell, they don't know at the CNP exam. So oftentimes the VA will get it wrong because we didn't provide them the right information. Important, okay? So when the disability is static, no future exams, re-exams. Number 2, when the findings and symptoms are shown by examination scheduled in paragraph B2I, which is static, of this section, or other examinations and hospital reports to have persisted without material improvement for a period of 5 years or more. So there's kind of 2 things in that. One thing is, hey, if the findings and the symptoms are shown as static from the medical records, then who cares, right? No future exam. The other way to read this one is, if your medical records that you have continue to show that you have not improved for a period of 5 years, then they're supposed to turn you over to static, okay? This is important information. Static is essential to protect yourself against any future cuts on your VA compensation. Number 3, when the disability from disease is permanent in character and of such nature that there is no likelihood of improvement, okay? So whatever it is, you have some sort of an autoimmune disease, right? you have some other disease, right? You have a disease that's like, hey, look, it is what it is. It's not going to go away. You got to take some sort of medication or just kind of suck it up and deal with it. It's not going to get better. In life, it's probably going to get worse. You're 50 today. When you're 80, you're going to be a lot worse with this, just the way that it is, right? So I have this thing called ankylosis, or I can't even say it, ankylosis, whatever, something spondylitis, right? So it's like a hybrid arthritis. It's an autoimmune disease, arthritis-y thing in my back and hips. So it's a lot of fun, actually. Can't sit too long, can't stand too long, can't lay too long, can't do anything too long, because then you start to like freeze up, like rigor mortis setting in. Anyway, so if your disease is permanent in character and of such nature that there is no likelihood of improvement, no future re-exams, right? In cases of, this is number 4, in cases of veterans who are 55 years of age or older, except under unusual circumstances. Okay, so whatever the unusual circumstance is, I don't know. So typically, usually, whatever, 55 years and older, unless it's under an unusual circumstance. Could be like cancer. Maybe you go into remission and now they're going to lower you from 100% for that cancer down to whatever. Number 5, when the rating is prescribed scheduled minimum rating. So if, for example, you get rated for tinnitus, ringing in the ear, and that's 10%. It's only a 10%. There's nothing else. So they're just going to go 10%. That's the lowest rating. Good. We're never going to talk to you again about your tinnitus. So if you're rated at the lowest rating on that rating schedule, then they're not going to bug you again for a future examination per the Code of Federal Regulations. Okay, so it's just important to know. Number 6. Where a combined disability evaluation would not be affected if the future examination should result in a reduction evaluation for one or more conditions. This one's important too. They all are. So what they're saying here is if your combined rating is X, whatever number that is, right? Could be 50%. All your ratings equal 50. All your ratings equal 70. All your ratings equal 100. Whatever they all equal. And you have a future exam, let's say, for one condition. All your rest of them are static, but you have that future exam for one. If that one condition was to change from whatever rating it is to nothing, would it affect your overall rating? Or would you still be 50, 70, 100 if it doesn't change anything, right? So if it does not change your overall rating, they're not supposed to do a future exam. Now, my example here is myself. I hit 100%, and I'm permanent in total now, right? And I have one condition that had a future exam originally, but I ended up getting 100% permanent in total, and now I don't need that one condition any longer. In fact, it could go to 0. It could go away. And I'm still 100% permanent in total. So I will never have a future scheduled examination for that one condition because it doesn't change my overall rating. All right. So also, this will have to do with pension cases. And this is paragraph C. So pension cases and non-service connected cases in which the permanent total disability has been confirmed by re-examination or by the history of the case, or with obviously static disabilities, further re-examinations will not generally be requested. In other cases, further examination will not be requested routinely and will be accomplished only if considered necessary based upon the particular facts of the individual case. In the cases of veterans who are over the age of 55, re-examination will be requested only under unusual circumstances. Remember, pension is the other monetary benefit. It is a safety net benefit that is there for veterans who fall below the federal poverty line, limit, whatever. There are some add-ons, spouse, kids, those types of things that bring up the level, right? So a single person, it might only be $16,000 or something like that. So, but what that benefit will do is it will pop you up to that limit. So in other words, if you were getting $10,000 a year and the federal poverty limit for your situation is $20,000, then you're receiving 10 already from whatever you're getting it from. Then they would bump you up to the 20,000 threshold. So you would get a check from the VA for $10,000. Well, you would get checks from the VA for $833 or whatever it is. So that concludes this. Very important stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.